Number 5. The Sukhoi Su-35, Russian, 35, NATO reporting name, Flanker E, is the designation for two improved derivatives of the Su-27 air defense fighter. They are single-seat, twin-engine, super-maneuverable aircraft, designed by the Sukhoi Design Bureau and built by the Komsomolsk-on-Amur aircraft plant. The first variant was designed during the 1980s as an improvement on the Su-27 and was known as the Su-27M. This derivative incorporated canards and a multifunction radar that transformed the aircraft into a multi-role aircraft, which was structurally reinforced to cope with its greater weight. The first prototype made its maiden flight in June 1988. As the aircraft was not mass-produced due to the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Sukhoi redesignated the aircraft as Su-35 to attract export orders. The 14 aircraft produced were used for tests and demonstrations. One example had thrust vectoring engines and the resultant Su-37 was used as a technology demonstrator. A Sol Su-35 UB2-seat trainer was also built in the late 1990s that resembled the Su-30 Mk family. In 2003, Sukhoi embarked on a second modernization of the Su-27 to serve as an interim aircraft awaiting the development of the Sukhoi Pak-4, Su-57, program. Also known as Su-35, this version has a redesigned cockpit and weapons control system compared to the Su-27M and features thrust vectoring engines in place of the canards. The type made its first flight in February 2008, although the aircraft was designed for export. The Russian Air Force in 2009 became the launch customer of the aircraft, with the production version called Su-35S. The Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force and the Indonesian Air Force have also ordered the aircraft. Number 4. The Dassault Rafale, French pronunciation, Rafale, literally meaning gust of wind, 10 and burst of fire in a more military sense, is a French twin-engine, canard delta-wing, multi-role fighter aircraft designed and built by Dassault Aviation. Equipped with a wide range of weapons, the Rafale is intended to perform air supremacy, interdiction, aerial reconnaissance, ground support, in-depth strike, anti-ship strike, and nuclear deterrence missions. The Rafale is referred to as an omni-role aircraft by Dassault. In the late 1970s, the French Air Force and Navy were seeking to replace and consolidate their current fleets of aircraft. In order to reduce development costs and boost prospective sales, France entered into an arrangement with UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain to produce an agile multi-purpose fighter, the Eurofighter Typhoon. Subsequent disagreements over work share and differing requirements led to France's pursuit of its own development program. Dassault built a technology demonstrator which first flew in July 1986 as part of an 8-year flight test program, paving the way for the go-ahead of the project. The Rafale is distinct from other European fighters of its era in that it is almost entirely built by one country, involving most of France's major defense contractors, such as Dassault, Thales, and Safran. Many of the aircraft's avionics and features, such as direct voice input, the RBE-2AA active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar and the Optronic Secteur Frontal Infrared Search and Track, IRST, sensor, were domestically developed and produced for the Rafale program. Originally scheduled to enter service in 1996, the Rafale suffered significant delays due to post-Cold War budget cuts and changes in priorities. The aircraft is available in 3 main variants: Rafale C single-seat land-based version, Rafale B twin-seat land-based version, and Rafale M single-seat carrier-based version. Introduced in 2001, the Rafale is being produced for both the French Air Force and for carrier-based operations in the French Navy. The Rafale has been marketed for export to several countries, and was selected for purchase by the Indian Air Force, the Egyptian Air Force, and the Qatar Air Force. The Rafale has been used in combat over Afghanistan, Libya, Mali, Iraq, and Syria. Several upgrades to the weapons and avionics of the Rafale are planned to be introduced by 2018. Number 3. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a family of single-seat, single-engined, all-weather stealth multi-role fighters. The fifth-generation combat aircraft is designed to perform ground attack and air superiority missions. It has three main models: the F-35A conventional takeoff and landing, CTOL, variant, the F-35B short takeoff and vertical landing, STOFLO, variant, and the F-35C carrier-based catapult-assisted takeoff but arrested recovery, CATOBAR, variant. On July 31, 2015, the United States Marines declared ready for deployment the first squadron of F-35B fighters after intensive testing. On August 2, 2016, the U.S. Air Force declared its first squadron of F-35A fighters combat ready. The F-35 descends from the X-35, the winning design of the Joint Strike Fighter, JSF, program. An aerospace industry team led by Lockheed Martin designed and manufactures it. Other major F-35 industry partners include Northrop Grumman, Pratt & Whitney, and BAE Systems. The F-35 first flew on December 15, 2006. The United States plans to buy 2,663 aircraft. Its variants are to provide the bulk of the crewed tactical air power of the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps over the coming decades. Deliveries of the F-35 for the U.S. military are scheduled until 2037 with a projected service life up to 2070. The United States principally funds the F-35 JSF development, with additional funding from partners. The partner nations are either NATO members or close U.S. allies. The United Kingdom, Italy, Australia, Canada, Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Turkey are part of the active development program. Several additional countries have ordered, or are considering ordering, the F-35. Turkey, as an industrial partner, is the sole source supplier for several parts used for the F-35. Vice Admiral Matt Winter, F-35 Program Director, told Jane's reporters on October 1, 2018 that Turkey's industrial base provides multiple parts on every F-35, including US F-35s. As the largest and most expensive military program, the F-35 is the subject of much scrutiny and criticism in the US and in other countries. In 2013 and 2014, critics argued that the plane was plagued with design flaws, with many blaming the procurement process in which Lockheed was allowed to design, test, and produce the F-35 all at the same time, instead of identifying and fixing defects before firing up its production line. By 2014, the program was $163 billion over budget and 7 years behind schedule. Critics also contend that the program's high sunk costs and political momentum make it too big to kill. In 2018, the F-35 was used in combat for the first time, as the Israeli Air Force's F-35I became operational, had been flown all over the Middle East, and had carried out the plane's first combat airstrikes in the world on two different battlefronts. Number 2. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a twin-engine, canard, delta-wing, multi-role fighter. The Typhoon was designed originally as an air superiority fighter and is manufactured by a consortium of Airbus, BAE Systems, and Leonardo that conducts the majority of the project through a joint holding company, Eurofighter Jagdflugzeug GmbH, formed in 1986. NATO Eurofighter and Tornado Management Agency manages the project and is the prime customer. The aircraft's development effectively began in 1983 with the Future European Fighter Aircraft Program, a multinational collaboration among the UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. Disagreements over design authority and operational requirements led France to leave the consortium to develop the Das Aldgreifel independently. A technology demonstration aircraft, the British Aerospace EAP, first took flight on August 6, 1986. The first prototype of the finalized Eurofighter made its first flight on March 27, 1994. The aircraft's name, Typhoon, was adopted in September 1998. The first production contracts were also signed that year. Political issues in the partner nations significantly protracted the Typhoon's development. The sudden end of the Cold War reduced European demand for fighter aircraft, and debate existed over the aircraft's cost and work share. The Typhoon entered operational service in 2003, it has entered service with the air forces of Austria, Italy, Germany, the United Kingdom, Spain, and Saudi Arabia. The air forces of Oman, Kuwait, and Qatar are export customers, bringing the procurement total to 599 aircraft as of 2016. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a highly agile aircraft, designed to be a supremely effective dogfighter in combat. Later production aircraft have been increasingly better equipped to undertake air-to-surface strike missions and to be compatible with an increasing number of different armaments and equipment, including Storm Shadow and the RAF's Brimstone. The Typhoon had its combat debut during the 2011 military intervention in Libya with the UK's Royal Air Force and the Italian Air Force, performing aerial reconnaissance and ground strike missions. The type has also taken primary responsibility for air defense duties for the majority of customer nations. Number 1. The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is a fifth-generation, single-seat, twin-engine, all-weather stealth tactical fighter aircraft developed for the United States Air Force, U.S. Air Force. The result of the U.S. Air Force Advanced Tactical Fighter Program, the aircraft was designed primarily as an air superiority fighter, but also has ground attack, electronic warfare, and signal intelligence capabilities. The prime contractor, Lockheed Martin, built most of the F-22's airframe and weapons systems and conducted final assembly, while Boeing provided the wings, aft fuselage, avionics integration, and training systems. The aircraft was variously designated F-22 and F/A-22 before it formally entered service in December 2005 as the F-22A. After a protracted development and despite operational issues, the U.S. Air Force considered the F-22 critical to its tactical air power. When the aircraft was introduced, the U.S. Air Force stated that the aircraft was unmatched by any known or projected fighter. The Raptor's combination of stealth, aerodynamic performance, and situational awareness gives the aircraft unprecedented air combat capabilities. The high cost of the aircraft, a lack of clear air-to-air missions due to delays in Russian and Chinese fighter programs, a ban on exports, and development of the more versatile F-35 led to the end of F-22 production. A final procurement tally of 187 operational production aircraft was established in 2009, and the last F-22 was delivered to the U.S. Air Force in 2012.